Okay, so today we talk about the way in which ranges gap from one range to a next, kind of your big moves that happen, kind of almost a conclusion to a Pandora's box as to where you'd have something like, well, we can actually see it on the daily right now, where you have a daily level versus another daily level like this. So you've got this kind of Pandora's box, and then you're trying to establish a move in what's happening in either direction. Are you going to gap up or are you going to gap down? The point where you're always going to have hold levels, right? You're always going to have like greediest hold level on this side versus greediest hold level on this side. And then when this one gets hit, it creates another one. And then this one creates another one. And then they just keep creating until at some point they all get respected until at some point then they all get broken. And it's like this one still wasn't hit, this one still wasn't hit. And there's like a few stragglers in there that weren't hit that supposedly look like good levels, but then aren't exactly respected. So kind of same thing, I'm presuming, happens something like in this region where just completely gap through the move, right? You completely gap through the entirety of the move, and you start to move down in a big way. So if you were to go to a 5-minute candle and you're saying, well, you've got an untested level here, it's as clear as day, look how good that is, versus what you have up top. And you had these all the way down too, right? So you had probably something in here, maybe this one here gets hit, and that gives you something along the lines of this one right here that gets hit, which continues to hold the move. So one of the key things here to understand is that the base of a move, as we've talked about in the past, the base of a move is going to be that factor that kind of breaks everything above it. So for example, you have clear base of a move right here, right? You've got a hold level that's hit and hit and hit and hit again, and it's still laddering off of it. This is the base of a move, right? So presumably if this breaks, you go over top of this range, you possibly go over top of this right here. Well, you would actually go up, and this becomes the kind of the base of the move, right? So looking at the base of the move, and so we got to find the base on the other side. So when you are finding the base of a move, the first thing you have to do is you always have to look at what was tested in the past. So you go here and you say, okay, well, where's this base? Okay, well, clearly it's this 15-minute backside, or possibly it's something else. But anyways, this 15-minute backside would cause the large dump of a move. So you do have the origin level, or what would be the base of the move on this side. Just like this could actually potentially be maybe right here, right? This is the hold level that gets hit, or possibly this being the base of the move. You're more likely to be this level right here. But presumably, you could be here or you could be here. More finite, you'd have this level right here. But this really becomes the two bases of the move. So you have to first start by eliminating these. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark the bases of the move in a different color. So we're going to go orange for this. So we're going to go orange is the base here, orange is the base here, right? So once you break over these levels, this is going to gap the entire chart, right? So this is going to either gap up or gap down. And we could actually take the replayer tool here and kind of go to this area here and start to find like the greediest levels. Like where would your good rebuys be? So you can go in here and you can say, this is a level right here. So you've got kind of your untested level right here. I'm not really certain if that's untested because this is tested here. But anyways, you'd have this here. So we're going to put these back as purple because this is going to be now a hold level, right? So you've got a hold level here on this side. And then on this side, you'd have that same hold level here, right? Which is the same valley here is getting hit. So this is all one and the same here. This is the valley here. This is the hold level here. We can just kind of play this through and just see which one it hits here. It's probably going to go after this one first because you can see it's kind of laddering down. Oh, okay. So it actually goes after the top one first. That's fine. So really, you're in this moment and you've said, oh, this is hitting here. And so fine, your new base point is here. Not base point, your new greediest point in the move, the ladder point is there. Or maybe even like right here. You could say it's right here. Come on. You could say it's even right here. That's what was hit. There's the base of the move or the hold level being hit again. So here's a scenario where you have the base of a move and a hold level. Come on. Shift click is not working. There we go. Base of a move and a hold level. There's not a big difference here, but really the right level becomes the base of the move because that's what it's holding over time. Just like the greediest shorts here, you have kind of two options. You have the hold level that's going to continue to ladder this move up, or you have the base of the move So there's a difference in what gets hit. If the hold level is getting hit, technically it means you're laddering. If the base of a move gets hit, you're not really laddering locally, are you? You're just looking at a more long-term ladder point that's being developed over possibly a day or 3 days or a week. So as this base gets hit over and over and over in this space and time here, from this day to this day, really all you're seeing is one candle on a higher time frame. So on one side of this chart, you have this move laddering down. On the other side of the chart, you have the base of the move being hit. In this scenario where the moves are laddering down, so you have your ladder point here, it goes to here, ladders it here, ladders it here, ladders it here. It is looking to break the base of the move. Alternatively, when you are doing the opposite on the other side, so you have the base of a move here and it's laddering off of this point, which would then ladder here, which would then ladder here, which would then ladder here. You are looking at a different move. Okay, so think of it like this. If this base is being hit, you no longer are looking to buy the greediest hold levels on this side. You are more looking to see if that base can start to establish a ladder. So for instance, this would have tried to establish a ladder here. So this base of the move is here. It tries and sees if this can hold. If this can hold, you have a ladder of a move to work off of to see if this base can hold, and alternatively vice versa on the other side. If you start laddering off of this move, you are going to start laddering towards this base, which is going to create kind of a moment where you're going to lose the level or lose a move. So when you're faced in a scenario like this, you're going to have, you'll always have the base of a move on either side. And the way in which the greediest hold level breaks in a move is when one base ladders against another. So again, for example, this one here, presumably it would have liked to create a ladder point here, and then you can keep attacking the base of this move and move up off of these ladder points, right? You could rebuy maybe right here, and then you could, rebuy maybe it comes down and touches that and creates another little thing. You can rebuy here and so forth until you get to this base of the move. And when that final hold level, maybe it's right here, gets broken, it just completely gaps the move and breaks through, right? So let's just play this move a bit here. We're on 1 minute charts, maybe not so good, but you know what, that's okay. Maybe we'll switch it to 3. And so you have the same thing happening, right? Like this isn't establishing any kind of move on the bottom side. You have kind of this ladder point here, but it really has to hold a hold level. Like really right now, with this hold level gone, it really needs to start laddering off of something in here, whether it's the backside or the front side, in order to go up and go after this higher range up here, right? Otherwise, all you're doing, and we can follow the trail, is laddering from here to whatever this backside here is. It doesn't even hit this actually. So we can maybe say it's even right here or possibly here. Yeah, it looks like it could possibly be here. You might have a little touch here, but somewhere inside of this range looks like it would be the right point to go after next. But the kind of the key information here is that, this is, and actually you do have the backside here too. This is laddering the move against the base down here. And it's not the fact that you have, okay, look, on this side here, you have like, okay, you have a ladder point here, you have a ladder point here on a higher time frame, here and here. That's fine. You have ladder points there, but you haven't held. While you do have ladder points, you know what that looks like? That looks like a trend. So actually, when you make a trend here, you're probably going to get something when you start hard closing these, something very, very much that looks like this, and maybe hard closes to here. Oh boy, magnet tool. Maybe something that hard closes like this after touching this one right here. Oh, come on, it goes right here like this, and then it ladders to something like this right here. Come on. Got to zoom in a bit. I can't see that one. Then it would ladder to something like this one right here, which gives you this final point right here. So this just very much looks like a trend that's being set up to break, right? So we can just keep playing this. So when on the top side of this chart here, and there's that next level that's hit on the top side of the chart here, you have, again, the base of a move is creating a ladder down, as opposed to this hasn't really hit any hold levels yet. We want this level here. You do have this hold level here that gets hit, which gives you this range here. You trail it up to here and looks like right to here. You do have, right, some ladders forming here. But again, you have a ladder forming after you've hit the base and you haven't really been able to establish a move. That's different than what's happening up here. Up here, you have the base of a move right here. And it actually might be on a different time frame. Let's take a look. I want to make sure this base on the top is right. So the base would be here on the hourly, and let's move down in time frames. We don't need to go any higher than this, and we can see if there's anything that's broken over top of it. And there is actually the base of the move is that 15-minute that we said. So it is right here. This is that base of the move here. So you can see where you've got the base on one side, and the visual difference between these two is very clear. This is constantly hitting the base without having any hold levels hit. So you do have that one form right here, which leads you right to this moment, which is that greedy level that we marked right there. This is kind of it. This is that moment of polarity in that chart, right? You've got your trend that's established. The base is attacking. It's not creating any ladder points up. Rather, it's just testing the base to see if the base can hold, just like an origin level would, right? You flip this chart upside down, and it kind of just looks like you're laddering up to break this trend, does it not? Like hit play a few more times here, let a few candles go. Like you're really just holding this move, right? And you're getting close to losing this trend, which has already tested the base of the move. So you're not going to have really anything that's going to hold this move up after this gets hit. So this level gets hit to perfection here on this side. So our level gets hit there, which is, I believe it was that 1 minute that we marked. Yep, that's the level there, the 1 minute. So we can even just delete that now. Or we can trail it through and say, okay, here's the next 1 minute piece right here, which is already tested. This one is gone. We no longer need this. We no longer, well, we can keep this one for now. Go back to a bit of a higher time frame here, maybe a 5 minute. Flip the chart upside down again. And this is the difference between gapping through a move, and if you were to look at these and say, okay, where's your next range in this move? Like go to your highest time frame. Where's your next range in this move? Well, the range exists up here. Like your range exists somewhere like right here, like a 4 hour chart. Your range exists somewhere like right here. Maybe there's something a little lower on different time frames. I'm sure there is. Like if you were to go into this and say, okay, well, you've got the greediest point right here, and then you've got the hourly right here. Maybe even a 15-minute right here looks relatively untested. Yeah, this looks like a decent level. I would maybe choose somewhere between, like understand where the range exists. So the range can't exist here. Look, here's your 1 hour range, right? If it breaks this, it's going after the larger range. So then we go to the 4 hour, right? And there is no 4 hour range here. So immediately we can be left back to right here, this 93.47 level, and just pick the greediest point in that, which is right here, 93.12, right? So there's presumably some greedier stuff there. But then again, look at the 1 hour on this side is respected perfectly. The 1 hour on this side should presumably be respected next, because the next piece of this move, once that breaks, is right here at 9100. So you can see the ladder points clearly, or I should say the greedy holds clearly created on the 1 hour ladder here. And the range cap is the 4 hour here. So you can see that, you go back to your smaller time frames, you look at this chart and you can see where the base on one side is being constantly hit and nothing is really holding this move. So when you lose this trend, hey, guess where you're going? This base is already tested. You're not holding hold levels. Alternatively, on this side, you're holding your move and creating ladder points without touching the base of this move, right? So you could just play this through, kind of see where it goes. That's that moment where it breaks that trend, right? Because this was that base of the move. And then you would even have something more local. You'd have something like this to here, right? Like you'd have it's about identifying the proper trend. You'd have this guy here to this guy here, distribution. It does hard close here, hits its hold level. That hold level rejects it, whatever this little, thing right there is, that's fine. That hold level rejects it. It then goes and breaks through the move. When you're looking like this is kind of like the eternal question of like, okay, well, look, you have all these hold levels on either side, right? Like buying hold levels is great, but then you have, hold level this side, and they just keep going. It's like an infinite Pandora's box that will keep getting developed, and like they just keep getting created every which way, up, down, left, right. They're everywhere, right? These hold levels, they keep creating themselves. Every time a move goes up or down, even 10%, it creates another hold. But then there's a point that you have to say, okay, this move is breaking down, and where are these hold levels not going to be used? Well, the hold levels are not going to be used when you have two bases of a move like this. You have one base versus another base. So if you were to look at this sample of, what are the time frame it's created on? I believe it was a 15-minute. When you look at the sample of this base rate here, tested once versus this base rate here, which is not only tested once, multiple times, over and over and over the course of the entirety of that piece of the move, but then it extends itself and tests here, which means anywhere from this point, it hasn't created a ladder up yet. Well, this has already created a ladder down from this original touch on this base. Now, this could have been two 1 minute candles that closed at the hour at 10:59 and opened at 11 and went down at 11:01. This could be two 1 minute. I don't know what this is, but this is one test on a higher time frame. This is at least two tests on a 4 hour, or at least one test on a 4 hour, at least two candles on a 4 hour, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is actually at least 3 hours, 4 hour candles here, right? And then you have another test here. So while you've already created a perpetual ladder down on this side, this base is already being tested to break. So this is how identifying the right base of a move and understanding where the base is, and we'll talk about that in a second, how to identify the right base. This is where you see something just completely lose its move and being set up to break. And you have to create a ladder somewhere like that. That's key. You create a base on both sides, typically in a Pandora's box. You create a base on this side, you create a base on this side. That's all fine and dandy. You could even say the base is here. Actually, this would actually be the even the more intermediate base. Like, you compare this one to this right here, and still the same thing though. It has indeed laddered this move. You can even take it here, and then you can see the ladder going down, right? And fine, so we can leave it here even. Yeah, you could even leave it here, but you can still see that same ladder from this point as to where you start laddering down against this, and you're still testing this base. Like really, this right here, this wick right here was kind of the dead giveaway. This right here coming back to retest this base is confirming a lot of things. It's confirming that this ladder, as long as it keeps going down, it's going to break the move. It's also confirming that there is no hold levels being respected from anything from back in here. So like scratch all this out of the way. While on this side, you do have that same thing, but there's a confirmed hold level right here. You don't actually come back up and test that base again after that. This is the dead giveaway, right? So when you look at this move, actually, we'll go to a smaller time frame. When you look at this move, you can kind of see the final base of the move still not being hit. You've got a trend here with a ladder point that's there, right? Base of the move is still not being hit. You're still kind of, in this interior base of this hold level that's holding through trend. And this is what always happens, right? This is that moment where you're like, oh, well, you lose trend, and look what happened. I wonder if this was even a 1 minute candle. Yeah, it was pretty instant, right? Like it was boom, boom, and then this one probably another big, huge candle down, and then there's a little hold there, kind of probably at some ladder point off of this base, or maybe just some, little bit of people taking profits because they probably thought the base was going to hold, and then it completely just collapses down because it loses the base. So and then this is the point. Oops. This is the point where you look at this and say, okay, well, where are your next ranges? Because that's what we haven't looked at next. So we kind of identified both these next points on the hourly. So see where that thing goes. And maybe we'll go to a 5 minute chart. It might take a while. And this is obviously, oops, we went a little too far there. This is obviously it has already created its next base off of whatever move this has tested. So it looks like maybe this right here. Yeah, that's your hold level there, right here. Whatever base this has created, that's already creating its own hold levels, right? So even here, you'd have whatever this is here. I'm sure this gets tested. Yeah, right there. That's fine. And no hold levels left. And then when it loses it, it's just gone, right? Because this is tested, the ladder's there. Let's delete this, make this a little clearer. Go back to the 1 hour chart, right? So you go back to the 1 hour and take a look at where your range cap can exist, right? So your maximum range cap can exist here, kind of on this 4 hour and the greedier point of the 4 hour. Anyways, if you were to take profits here, it would have been a great trade, even at 93.51. So it goes a little bit over and goes after the greedier level. That's fine. Whichever one you took profits on here, it's really kind of a mute point. It would be great to squeeze out the extra $37, but really in either scenario, it's a huge profit. So when you're looking at this move, you go back to profit capping and you say, okay, we're in a move right now. What's the maximum this thing can go? So then you have all these different daily points, and you have this daily back here, which is also the profit cap for the daily. You have probably no 12 hour. Well, the 12 hours already tested. So actually you have this kind of 12-hour point right here. Oh, sorry, we're in the wrong piece of the move. This 12 hour right here. Yep, this could be also the same thing, the same profit cap, right? Like you're existing in that same profit cap there, where you are going to test this move to see if it can hold or not, right? So anyways, go back to the daily here, take a look. Yep, daily, same spot as the 12 hour. same spot as the 4 hour. And then the 4 hour, you start to get just, a little bit deeper. And you notice how these are still all accumulation candles on this side. They're still all accumulation candles. So your profit cap still exists until it breaks up. So then you go down to the 1 hour. And that's where you can start to see where you are now needing to use a bigger time frame to profit cap this, because you start to have two interior hold level. Like your interior hold levels here are they're just that. They're too interior, right? Your hold levels are just simply too interior. And actually, maybe this is the base of the move right here. Let's delete that. This could not even possibly be the base of the move here. Yeah, it looks like this was it actually. But that's fine. I found it on the backside. I'm going to stick with what I found. But anyways, that's you can see this is where you need to use a higher time frame to profit cap this move, because you've got too many of these hold levels between. And if we jump up in one time frame, you can see where the next hold level is going to be respected. So that's also another pretty important distinction to make, is that when you are looking to profit cap something, you have to find the biggest time frame that can give it to you. So like you can't use a weekly here. Obviously, your weekly is going to be, over here. You can't use a weekly unless you're going to stay in this trade for months on end. Can you use a daily? Yeah, you can use a daily if it makes sense. So like if we use this daily here, that was already hit. And then, maybe let's remove all these levels that we have. So we can just purely look at the raw profit cap. So you can't use this when you're gapping that range off of lost bases of moves, like the base of the move. You can't use this one's tested. You can't use it. Okay. So then you have this one right here is the next one. That's fine. What about the 12 hour? Okay, so the 12 hour is still there. We can keep going down in time frame. What about the 4 hour? Okay, well the 4 hour is still there. You see all these accumulation candles still allows you to have a higher time frame hold level. It's still there. So then you can go to the 1 hour. And this is where you can see, okay, the 4 hours of time frame we need to use, and we cannot use 1 hour points as our profit cap in the move. The max this can go is like right here. It's that time frame down inside of that profit cap, right? So you have the 4 hour, again, just can't be a daily because you've got one accumulation candle right here. So it cannot be this daily. Cannot be this 12 hour. You can start to develop it here. You can say, okay, well, it could be the 12 hour. It could be the daily. Those are the same 2 points, but we have to keep moving down in time frames. We wouldn't even, at this point, this is what we'd be doing. This is the flow that we would do it on. We'd go like this. Okay, it can't be the daily 1 candle. Can it be the 12 hour? Nope. It can't be the 6 hour. Nope. Can't be the 4 hour. Nope. Nothing to mark yet. Presumably it could be the 2 hour. Oh, it can be the 2 hour. Okay, but we don't really use a 2 hour time frame. Sometimes I'll use it just for reference points, but really the 1 hour is something that we immediately use. Oh, there can be a profit cap here because look, there's all these hold levels in between, which means it can't go over the next time frame's profit cap. So then you can mark this 4 hour and start to work backwards from this to understand the profit cap. If you continue to have the timeframes down, you would do the same thing. And at this point, you can simply say, where's the hold level? It's right there in the profit cap of that move. And that's that line in the sand where you have a profit cap and you keep looking forwards in timeframes. Forwards meaning the highest time frame down. So forwards as in making more candles appear on this side until you have the break of the move where you have all these hold levels, because that gives you your maximum range. So on one side of this move, we had the base of the move, which was this backside, right? We have the base of the move, which is this backside, versus the base of the move, which is the range itself. Okay, this is the origin level or the base of the move. We can mark this the other way. This is what once it loses this level, it's going to go after its next range, right? You're not going to go after this hold level at that point. You're not going to say, oh, this was the greediest hold level. This was the greediest hold level, right? Once you break this range, you are going after your next range, right? So you are either going after this range right here, whatever it is in here, right? I'm sure we found it before. Whatever it is in here, you're going after, right? I think it was a 5-minute candle right there. So once this level breaks, it's gapping straight down to that. And the maximum it can go once that range is broken is where the profit cap exists. Okay. So again, we'll keep it this way. We'll keep it the wrong way this time. I think that's what I need to say. So you look at this move and you take this replayer tool, or in the replayer tool. Let's take this move back to here. You're in the replayer tool and you can say, okay, well, it could go to here, but where do my time frames break down? Okay, well, they haven't broken down yet. So technically it could go to this 4 hour level. It hasn't broken down yet. So it's going to target this 4 hour level. Okay, now we've got hold levels that are breaking down. So we simply have a choice between the greediest part of that move, right? Or we can go back here and say, look, you've got, this is where your range cap exists, is the 4 hour, right? So then you hit play, allow this move to break down. And that's exactly what it does. It breaks down and goes after the greedy part of this level. But that's also how you identify a range cap. And when you lose this trade, you can see why. Once it loses this base, it goes straight to this level. You can see that the cap of the range already exists, right? Now it looks like it's creating another base of its move somewhere off of this. Like it looks like maybe just today it's creating another base of a move here. This must have just happened or something pretty recently here. Yeah, okay, so fine. It's trying to create another base of its move to move down.